everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is my watering day and I thought I'd take you along with me on how I water a large collection of orchids in one day a week. Now, I've set up my collection and the way that I have my orchids potted in self-watering or semi-hydroponic setups means that I only need to water once a week. So I've set it up to fit around what I can physically do, and I think this is key to being successful as an orchid grower, because if you're trying to grow loads of mounted orchids but you work full time and you don't have enough time in the day to actually water them several times a day in the peak of summer, then you're kind of setting yourself up for a challenge that is probably going to be a little bit too draining to maintain long term. So I've tried to set up my orchids in such a way that they can be happy and I can also keep them happy and maintain them in quite a limited time frame. So I really only have one full day a week that I can spend with them. And I do come up in evenings after work and check on them, see how they're doing, and any that have completely sucked up their water reservoir, I will water again. But that doesn't usually happen. I've kind of set it up in such a way that I can manage it with just one day a week. So I just wanted to show you how I water them. And I've mentioned before in my fertilising video, which I'll link you to down below, that I have a couple of different fertiliser solutions depending on whether my orchids are in moss or semi-hydro, because moss has a acidic pH, and so I use the same nutrient solution but I just pH it a bit higher, and that is pH to around just over 6, depending on how broken down the moss is. As this gets towards my annual repot, the moss does start to acidify a little bit, so I pH up a little bit higher. So really just monitor what's in the pot. But for my orchids in semi-hydro, I pH to around 5.8. As shown in my semi-hydro video, my brand of Roellke doesn't really affect pH all that much, so I'm quite happy to pH to that for my Roellke. So these are my moss orchids, just on this shelf, my oncidiums, and then down below, which is kind of blocked at the moment by this table, my Miltoniopsis. So I've got a 5-litre pump sprayer, which I do have to fill up about 3 times to do my watering. I do need a bigger one really, but for now this is fine. I literally just go along. I've modified the tip, so basically I've taken out, they come with a little plastic plug, and then at the end they have the spray nozzle which you can tighten, and then in combination with the plastic kind of atomizer that it's got in there, you can actually quite easily just produce a fine mist. But that doesn't really work for me with my watering. I want to hold it on each pot long enough to fill the self-watering reservoir. The easiest way to achieve this is literally just to use a stream of water from the pump sprayer directly. So I literally go to each pot, I hold it on for about 20 seconds, and that's enough to put about 2 centimetres of water into the reservoir. This is obviously different depending on different pump sprayers and different pressure speeds, and I notice obviously as I'm getting low on pressure I maybe have to hold it on for a bit longer. So I just go along, and that is one shelf of orchids done. So I'm just going to get on and do the rest of them. It takes me sort of 10 minutes to do one shelf. So I spend about half the day in here usually on a Saturday watering them all and checking them all. And then using a lower pH solution for my orchids in semi-hydro, I again just fill the pot using the pump sprayer, and the reservoir is now full. You can see the water level there, which is to about here, and that'll last a week for the Sherry baby at the moment because it is extremely thirsty. And yeah, I just go along and do this for all of my semi-hydro and self-watering pots and just fill the reservoir. For the orchids that I've got in bark moss mixes up here, I literally just do the same. Just make sure that I kind of spray the top and the moss through that wicket evenly. And all my orchids along the top shelf here, apart from that one which was kind of an experimental one, are in semi-hydro, so the rest of them get the lower pH solution also. Now my Vandas, while I'm doing this, just soak in a little tub of nutrient solution which is level with the top of their basket, and I soak each Vanda for about half an hour, and this is in between the sort of daily spraying that I showed you in my Vanda update video for summer care. In winter, this is all I do for my Vandas, I just soak them once a week, but at the moment I'm having to kind of spray down in between watering days because it's so hot at the moment. Yeah, that's what my Vandas kind of do while I'm getting on with the rest of my watering. And that is literally it. I just go along, spraying down the tops of the media, filling up the reservoir, and that consists of my watering. Now, something that I didn't kind of say is that I do a flush every few weeks where I just use pure water. And for that flush, obviously I've got a nutrient solution in here, but just to kind of show you an example of what I would do, so I would just use the spray nozzle at quite a high power there over the top of the media, and just make sure that I spray down all of the tops of the media there to make sure that no salts are accumulating at the top. And I do that sort of once probably every 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, that's how I care for a large collection of orchids in just one day a week. And they don't really require much of my time in between that, to be totally honest. The reservoirs keep them going throughout the week. I do check on them every day. And that's kind of it. There's not much more to my watering regime than that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy this video then give it a like or subscribe to my channel for more regular orchid updates, and I will see you guys later. Bye!